Hello and welcome back to the Pickle Clique podcast.
Yay! Finally, I feel like it's been so long for me.
I mean, it has. It's been
Because
like
last week I wasn't here.
It's been 3 weeks.
Also, I found this.
And we're in school.
We're in school. Yay!
We're recording in school. So
back.
there might be like a background sound, but it shouldn't be too bad because I mean this microphone is like has proven itself to be good so far.
Yeah. Okay. No. Well, so I wasn't here last week.
Mm.
I had to go home.
Yeah.
The week before that, we
didn't record.
We didn't record.
And then the week before that, we were online.
Right.
Well.
So
it's been a month since we recorded in person like this.
Right. Well, welcome back.
Yeah, a lot has happened in this month.
And I'm only just noticing. So I wasn't here last week, but you did record with.
We did record
a group of people.
Yes.
I haven't gone over that yet, but I am now noticing it was uploaded 16 hours ago. What happened to every Monday?
Okay, so I just for now I'm going to blame it on the difficulties planning and execution of podcast episodes over the like internet or over like social medias and stuff. It gets difficult, and it's just easier to do it like in person.
Right.
And so like last week it wasn't really possible since we were in Sweden on the Friday, which is our recording dates.
Yep.
And then Mika wasn't allowed in school, and so like finding a place to record and everything, it gets difficult. So I recorded on the Monday or Tuesday with Case and Lucas, yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, we were talking and it took me time to edit. Mind you, it takes about 2 hours to go over each episode.
Right.
Yeah. It takes some time and
yeah.
effort, and it's difficult to do it over the week like I had to this time, and that's why it was so late. Because when I have a weekend, I can just put the time I need into it. But during school days, I got school, I got other stuff. It's more difficult to get it over.
Okay, well, anyways, thank you for doing all of that while I was.
No problem. Sorry for just excluding you last week, basically.
No, that's okay. I couldn't.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Pickle Clique.
Yeah,
podcast.
Welcome back. And I mean, of course. Well, so we're right now. It's 3 p.m. in the Netherlands on a Friday afternoon, November 6th, meaning elections.
Elections.
It's not over yet.
Oh, U.S. elections. They're gonna go on until Tuesday.
Really?
That's the last day that Nevada's gonna take in
votes.
Mail-in ballots or votes or whatever. I watched the news thing with that at home with my parents. My dad is really invested in the U.S. elections right now. If you think about, I mean, let's be honest here. I think it's pretty clear what side both me and you are on.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Take a guess.
Biden?
No, Jojo.
oh, of course.
I'm part of the 1%.
Yes.
Yeah. No, okay, for Biden. Yeah, no.
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't. If I was an American and I could vote, I would not vote Biden or Trump.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Even though I'd want Biden to win, of course, because Biden is better than Trump. It's still like, to me, I'm not gonna vote for someone just because I don't want the other person to win. I'm gonna vote for who I believe should be the leader.
Joe Biden was, what do you call it, vice president with Obama, and together they did a lot of great things. So I do feel like, like when it's experience wise, I know Donald Trump was actually the president, but I feel like Joe Biden is probably more like he knows what to do with these situations. But that's mainly because I believe Donald Trump to be like a hot-blooded American, if that makes sense. Pure American blood, and that's all he like.
Yeah.
In his eyes, that's perfection. Joe Biden really does, to me, at least, want to make a difference.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though. I don't follow the elections in America that much.
No, I'm very proud. I just want to take this mention this. I think yesterday or the day before that, it was very it was super even, right? And Trump was actually going to win with if everything looked the same as it was, but it was down to Michigan at that point, and Michigan was then starting to turn. I mean, of course, things are gonna change until we upload this. We might be like everything might have been changed. Maybe Trump is the president when this is over. But as of then, Michigan was red, Pennsylvania was red, Georgia was red, and Trump was actually winning. However, me and my dad both sat down. We analyzed like the growth, like the population count, the percentage, and which was most likely to vote for who. And we called that. I think Wayne County is where Detroit is.
Yeah, you said it on the WhatsApp group chat, I think.
Yeah, there was a WhatsApp group chat where I mentioned. Yeah, so here Wayne County. That's where Detroit is. Infamous city, known for like a lot of crime and stuff. But we called that Detroit was going to be the key county in Michigan, which was going to turn Michigan blue, and that happened. I see now because we were in class this morning, and then Georgia turned blue.
Lucy was freaking out.
Lucy was freaking out. The difference right now is, this is amazing. The difference is 1,100 people. All right. And 99% in, but Georgia has turned blue, which is a surprise, right?
Yeah.
Because Georgia is a southern, like it's a red state.
Yep.
Or traditionally speaking, something else has changed though. I don't know if you've seen it.
Is it Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania has gone blue.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I was like in the beginning, in this morning at least. Sorry.
Yeah.
I saw Pennsylvania was red, and I was like, oh, I mean, pretty obvious, because I remember in the previous elections when it was Trump versus Hillary, like Trump's big selling point to Pennsylvania was that he'd reopen factories again, because a lot of people in Pennsylvania lost their jobs because of closing down of factories or something like that. And he said he would open it. Of course he didn't, but like he said that he would this time again, I guess, or something like that. So I was like, oh, of course. And then I look again right now, I'm like, hey, Pennsylvania is blue.
Pennsylvania's blue. Right. But this is the confusing part about these elections and last year's last elections then as well, because that's Pennsylvania's part of the blue wall, if you know what that is. It's like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Like those are all blue states, usually speaking. Ohio is red, and is 96% in, and that's going to go to Trump, which is confusing. And Pennsylvania, especially that was going to go to Trump, was surprising. But now Pennsylvania is going to Biden. It's on a 0.1% lead, but that's more than in Georgia at least, and they're also almost done. So Pennsylvania and Georgia are both going to go to Biden, also. And this is a confusing but surprising change, because beforehand it was really down to Michigan. What was going to happen to Michigan? Yeah. And when Michigan changed, when Michigan turned or flipped or whatever you call it, then Biden was leading, and if that would have stayed the same way, Biden would have won with 270 against Trump's 268, which, by the way, to win you need 270. That would be on the literal edge of victory, which is, I mean, if you ask me, that's like very stressful. And it was also, people are speaking of like Nevada, but Nevada just they've started counting again, and Biden has a big lead on Trump, 0.9%, which is a lot bigger than it was before. Pennsylvania went to Biden, Georgia went to Biden. Like, a lot has changed in just today. Like two main, no, don't worry, but like two like major states. Pennsylvania has 20 electoral, whatever they're called, and Georgia has 16. Those are two very like big states. Points, like big victories, and they've both suddenly turned to Biden. Biden's gonna win by like a lot now, all of a sudden, rather than the like slight win.
Also, I have a question.
Ask away.
So like you said, there are the points.
Yeah.
Is that decided on how the population or how large it is?
It's on population, I think.
Right. Okay. Because like you have larger ones, and then it counts to 6, and then you have like.
New York, for example, that's 29.
Yeah, or Maryland is 10.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it's on population size.
Yeah. Okay,
California
that's
has the most. It's 55. In California is very densely populated, I think.
Okay, so that's all. Oh yeah, California's very popular.
If you look at all the states, like Washington has 40 or 12, California has 55, Texas has 38, Florida 29. Like the most famous states have the most points with them. I kind of lost where I was.
Yeah, we were just talking about the points really, or like the point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like California, 55, like
Bigger
12.
states have more, so it's probably on population size, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, Alaska, there's no one there. It has three points.
Isn't it like 90% of the population is trees? Okay, I'm sorry.
Probably, not even gonna lie. But yeah, that's the U.S. Election right now. How do we feel about the U.S. election?
I just feel so bad for America right now because they're in such an awful position.
Yeah.
Like, no matter who wins, Biden wins, Trump supporters are saying, oh, we're going to riot, we're going to shoot up places, we have guns, we have weapons. If Trump wins, Biden supporters are going to say, we're going to
riot,
we're going to protest, we want Trump out of the White House.
They're in such a horrible position right now.
Yeah, like no matter what, it's gonna go down. Like everything's gonna go down. Of course, there will be a point where it should go up. You know, I mean, like think about it. Well, no offense to the people, but after a long time, they kind of lose hope in a way. You know, they give up. So I feel like yes, it will get better in the end, but there's gonna be such a big impact. I feel like on such a big impact on and maybe not the economy, but like as people, there's gonna be such a big divide. I feel like
there is gonna be an impact on economy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That too.
I am ready to almost bet that there's going to be strikes.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is of course that's gonna see like a result on the economy, and also we have to think about the fact that there's always like waves in economy in everything, but economy mostly. Like most of all, you can like see waves, and since everything nowadays is based on the economical resources that a country has, look at 2008, the stock crash in 2008 that affected the whole world.
Yeah.
And the US has been going up since, and it's kind of looking.
But how about the inflation rate? I thought the inflation rate went up recently. I mean, I could be wrong, and maybe it was like I know that was in the beginning of Corona.
No,
I think.
it's going. Of course, with Corona, economies are struggling all over the world, but the US, I think, is going to see a big decrease in economical influence over the world, and I mean. In some ways it's good, in some ways it's bad. We've seen the effects that the economical like the value of the dollar, if that decreases, we've seen the effect on the world, like on a global scale before, many times, like the Great Depression in the 30s or the stock crash in 2008, and we've seen how long it can take to recover from those. So it has a great impact on like the lives of everyone around the world, not just or like how do you say that? Nevertheless, like the American people, of course, we can sit here and we can go like, oh, it's what do you call it? It's like, they deserve it or whatever because they voted Trump, but it's still there's a lot of Democrats going to suffer. Not even Democrats. I mean, they're all people.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I do not associate at all with the most far-right American in Texas or Alabama. I don't associate with them, and I do not agree with any of their political views whatsoever. However, they're also human. They also deserve at least like some human qualities, even if they believe that other people don't. It'd be unfair. It'd be putting me in the same like category as them, saying that they don't deserve this because their beliefs. It wouldn't make sense. So, the American people are going to suffer from an economical crisis, which the U.S. is inevitably heading towards.
Mm-hmm.
And if the government is not in a state to like catch up quickly, a lot of people are going to suffer. Like a lot of people are going to die. I think in if we want to be dramatical.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's gonna have a global impact. We can say it's good because I mean,
is that real? Sorry, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I remember seeing this on the group chat once. I don't know if it was photoshopped or not, or like made.
That doesn't look very real because it doesn't have the site. Oh, by the way, Morty's showing a picture of Mark Rutte, who is the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, and it says
Dutch PM Mark Rutte says Netherlands will deploy military if Trump refuses to leave office. I mean, there's no citing or anything, so honestly, I highly doubt it. But I was thinking it was funny because, remember the last election when Trump won, the Netherlands came out with that kind of advertisement.
Yeah.
Saying like we completely understand America first.
Oh, and they Zondag met Lubach. That's the show.
I think that might be it. But I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. And I was thinking now like, they must regret like their word completely. Yeah. With with all that, but I highly doubt that's real. Because I tried looking it up.
It's not real.
Yeah,
I've looked up the exact title, and it's most things that even have anything to do with it are from 2018, 17. It's mostly like, it's about Mark Rutte, not like anything else.
But, sorry for cutting you off. I just remember, like you were saying, it's gonna damage like around the world, Like how America stands. So I was just thinking of that like photo. I didn't think it was real in the first place, but I thought I'd ask you anyways. But
it's going to have great impact on the global economy, and with that global politics, global life standards. Everything is going to see a drop probably if the U.S. has another economic crash. How good would that be though? I mean, I kind of want to discuss that. The U.S. is right now, at least according to me, and a lot of, I don't know I can't even speak English today. A lot of researchers do agree with that point that, the U.S. is a leading superpower at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't really have to have a brain to know that,
No.
Okay.
But what I'm wondering is personally, what I'm wondering is how positive is that actually? Let's talk about that, and then I have something else I want to move on to, with that. I mean, but how positive is the U.S. being a leading superpower?
I'm sorry, I'm really gonna cut in and put in my opinion on this straight away. Yeah. I actually see where you're coming from. Was like how positive is it? Because there's a negative that because they're the number one. I do this in air quotes because I don't know if we can consider them number one what they are right now internationally, but that means a lot of eyes are on them. Whatever. Everyone is aware of what they have, meaning they're gonna try and match up with that, and they're gonna other people could form alliances to be you attack one of us, we attack you back, and stuff like that. So I feel like being at the top makes you the biggest target,
That I'm not really worried for, because I don't feel like countries want to start war.
No, definitely not. But I'm in a war sense, yes, like that. But also with just so much influence is on.
Just keep talking.
It's like that, Well, I don't know. I'm not that big on American politics like you are, and how everything's going. So
I'm very into, but mostly just global. Personally, this is a big thing for me. I really like conflict history and conflict politics. That is, of course, that's a very sensitive topic because what is it? I have to repeat myself again. I don't know how to speak English today.
Conflict politics.
It's a sensitive topic because a lot of people die and everything. But I'm very interested in it. I am very interested. My favorite parts of history are World War I, World War II, Cold War, the Civil Rights Movement in the U.S. between 54 and 78, that kind of stuff. What we're talking about in history. That's my main interests are conflict history. Revolutions also, that kind of stuff. So I mean, the U.S. being the leading superpower, we know that any like step that's too far off the like correct path will lead to international conflict. I mean, we saw how close it really was when in February or March, when they had sent a missile strike on some Iran or Iraqi base. I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, and they killed some general.
Yeah.
And we saw how.
And then they like put a hit on Trump.
Yeah, exactly, and put a hit on American sites, and then Trump reacted with like, oh, but then we'll hit like these cultural heritage sites, and it's like, you know,
And then
if
they
it wasn't,
backed
because
off.
this is the thing, the ones that backed off were actually not the U.S. It was the other side.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they were Iran or Iraq or.
It was one of the, I think it was Iraq, but
I think it was Iran.
oh, okay.
Maybe Iraq. I don't know, but the thing is, they were the ones that backed down, and that kind of shows that if both parts were aggressors, say if this was Russia, or if this was North Korea or China is the opposing superpower right now.
Yeah.
If this is what I wanted to go to. If the U.S. crashes economically, chances are it will fall from its spot as the global leading superpower right now, and that spot will most certainly be taken by China.
Yeah.
How good would it be? We can, of course, this is all political views and everything, but how good would it be if China led the world? If you look at China, the humanitarian crisis that
It is awful. Oh my.
China.
But-
I mean, you lived in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
and Hong Kong is getting
taken over.
by China. Like I think you're better at.
Like
me
with
than
this.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you have more knowledge on that part about how the situation really is in China or China-related areas. Like, how good would it be if China had that influence over the world that the U.S. has had the past 100 years? You know, I don't like
That thought of that or.
well, no. What I just want to say, I just personally, I am not a big fan of American culture. The putting America first in all situations, which a lot of people, of course, not all American people. We know a lot of American people that don't have it, but like a big part
I know what
of
you
the
mean, yeah.
a big part of the American population, the views on gun laws, the views on
And then that's being pushed onto everyone else.
exactly, and how that is pushed on everyone else, and I don't like the influence that American culture has over the world.
Okay,
of course, but however,
Yeah.
America to some extent is still like I don't like the system is not that democratic. You know,
Yeah.
if the votes are mostly Trump in a state, then all the votes in the state go to Trump. That doesn't make any sense. If you ask me, a two-party system doesn't make any sense if
Yeah.
you call yourself a democracy, according to me. However, what is the option? You know, I'd rather see the world trying to change the U.S. and the U.S. becoming a better country. Which
Then-
how long have they been trying to do? Like 10,
Just
20
since-
years,
yeah.
30 years, like for a while. I'd rather see them keep trying and failing than a country, because China is not, it's just, it doesn't align with our views on democracy
It's
at all.
not the greatest place.
No,
Yeah. No,
and,
yeah.
and you know the
it's very
censorship and all that kind
Yeah.
of, like at least in the U.S. you get threatened if you say wrong stuff. In China you can actually be.
That's just like you're a criminal. Like
Yeah, exactly.
You say something wrong, you're a criminal. If you don't follow their borderline expectations, you're a
Yeah.
criminal. You have to. They're very systematical. You know,
Yeah,
like it's kind of
exactly.
like they treat you like robots.
Yeah, you're numbers in the system rather
Yeah.
than people. What I would like to see, and this is never gonna happen, but what I would like to see is the EU solving their current issues, then becoming one country, and then taking over the world. Because if you ask me,
Very possible.
Not all members of the EU are following the standards that we in the Netherlands enjoy, or or in Germany, or in Sweden, or in Belgium, or in
Yeah.
France, or there's still stuff that some countries, especially Eastern countries, do suffer from, even though they are EU members. But if we were to solve that as the European Union, if we were to solve those issues and then become one country, and if you ask me, I mean, of course, I grew up in this. Maybe someone who grows up in China believes that is the ultimate form of democracy.
Right.
But if you ask me, I would say the European form of democracy is the ultimate form of democracy at the moment.
Yes.
Because we are, of course, you can get arrested. We talked about this last week when Lucas brought up a rapper in France who had been arrested because he had said some stuff. That is, of course, there's a lot of like gray areas, like what is and what isn't freedom of speech, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask me, in European, especially Western European countries, you can say mostly whatever you wanna. I mean, if you're actually saying something that can be conceived as a threat, then I don't see why you should be angry when the government comes and knocks at your door. But you can say most of the stuff you want without being like put in prison or being like threatened with prison or stuff like that. You can vote for whoever you want. I mean, in the Netherlands we have 20 parties, like a bunch of
A
them.
lot, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
and that's like different parts of the political spectrum, and that I like.
I recently learned about a couple of them. I know there's one like that, but they're all like for different things as well. That's what.
Yeah, that's the good thing, I
Yeah.
believe. With a two-party system, it's either this or that, and they don't represent you as a person. They represent two different parts of the political spectrum. If you have the more parties you have, of course, you can't have too many because there has to be order in the like government. But if you have, say, 20, like the Netherlands has,
that is very more specific, kind of.
it's so much more personally specific,
Yeah.
and they will like you can much more tailor your choice after what they say. If you vote third party in the U.S., of course, that's what you believe, but they're never gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Not as long as Democrats and Republicans have the power that they have.
Right. Yeah.
Let's be honest, Democrats are in no way like better than Republicans, I'd say.
Just
I'm
like in general, or
Yes, this is my biggest issue with American politics, and especially what we view of American politics. We all see like Joe Biden has to win because he's better than Trump, right?
Yeah.
That's what we think. And yes, I believe that he is. On personal level, on political, I think
Just
in most
everything.
aspects,
Yes.
in most aspects, Biden is better than Trump. But after all, Biden is just another old white dude sitting there speaking for certain
But he
ideas.
seems like a person with a really good heart.
Yes, but he's
But maybe
just,
that's
he's,
just like, oh, sorry.
He's still only like it's either him or it's that, you know? It's
Yeah.
him or him. And to achieve like a more free choice, you have to have different options.
Yeah.
And the Democrats, especially if you look back at history, before World War II, before the Civil Rights Movement, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the Republicans were the ones that supported equal rights, and the Democrats were actually the ones that...
Like when it powered
Abe
people with
Lincoln was a
power.
Republican,
Right.
and he freed the slaves within quotation marks. But
Is
Abe
it
Lincoln
freed
was-
because some people didn't follow it? Like it still
no, he
happened?
himself didn't follow it to
Oh
full
yeah,
extent.
that's sorry. Yeah.
It's still believed that he did it mostly to just gain more votes and gain more popularity, you know, among black communities. But like it, so you know, just personally, we kind of like I want to let you talk a little bit too, but we've already passed 30 minutes, so I'm just gonna like speed myself
wrap it
up
up.
a little
Don't
bit.
worry.
So what I just believe is that the American system is flawed because the Republicans, of course, have a lot of iffy views. Iffy being like weird and not completely like understandable and relatable.
Yeah.
And not making sense.
Yeah, so, like it's just
democratically.
sometimes very random.
But
or
the
just-
same goes for the Democrats. You know.
Yeah.
The same goes for the Democrats. Now that's not as extreme, I believe, in most cases. But I mean, if you take a far right group and compare to a far left group, so Antifa, and we compare that to one of the hundreds of militant white supremacy groups, but KKK, all right? KKK has a longer historical record of the crimes they commit. And of course more horrible lynching and murdering and looting and that kind of stuff. But to some extent, Antifa is doing like the KKK has recently also gone down in like the crimes they actually do.
Yeah.
Like to more like
Movement.
they're not
things,
as
or?
extreme.
Yeah.
I would say like of course there's probably still lynchings happening. There is actually
There's
still like white murders that happen because of white supremacy, but to some extent they've gone down And I mean, if you look at the stats, the lynchings are so much lower than they were in the 1800s and the start of the 20th century. And
but
now it's most.
Do you think that might also be a little bit because now it's just more common to get a gun and shoot someone rather than?
I think it's because it's so much easier to just trace everything nowadays. But now I think it goes more to property destruction now. This is not fact. This is not backed up by facts, but I think it's more It's more. I think so. I think it's more destruction of property. And if we look at Antifa, what have they been doing recently? Rioting, looting, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement.
They used that as their kind of front.
Yeah, and to some extent, Antifa is sinking themselves in the mud along with the KK, although not with the same history.
They're digging themselves.
They're digging themselves a grave.
That's a funny saying. I've never heard that one before.
They're digging themselves a grave. Of course, it's not 35 feet deep like the KKK grave, but it's still getting slower and slowly, but still on a steady rate. It's going down. I mean, we saw how Trump reacted to Antifa when he was the president. He wanted to make them a terrorist organization. That's very extreme. And I don't believe that's correct. However, they have to putting it simply, they have to chill. Yeah. Because this is not a way, like, I'm a believer of nonviolence. Yeah. And yes, in some cases, violence has helped to get the means across. Yeah. However, I do not believe that to this extent, violence to this extent is not going to make anyone sympathize with you. No one's going to empathize with you. Everyone's just going to see you as this destructive, criminal idiots, and they won't support you. But
I'm going to quickly say, okay, because I mean everyone's going to have different views on this, so I'm going to say for you. Yeah. Like don't come at him for this, because I understand that there are going to be a couple of people saying, "Oh yes, but they come at us with violence." Or when I say us, I mean like people that are looting. Oh and riot. What's peaceful rioting? Protesting. And peaceful rioting. Shut up. And then it turns violent because police is coming on and enforcing it, which I get. But.
Yeah, I'll just make my own disclaimer then there. Of course, I cannot put myself into your situation. I live in a country where
it's very safe, and when protests do happen, police are very accepting. I remember when
if they do break the law, it's not exactly like they throw in tear gas or anything. It's just please do leave the perimeter. There was a protest, Black Lives
in
Amsterdam. There was an even bigger one where they allowed 200 and something people. They said that many people were allowed to come, and there were thousands of people that arrived, and the police came there, and instead of going you gotta get the F out of here, they were like, excuse me, please, I beg you, we beg you, we're in a very bad position right now with the coronavirus, can you please just
keep
break up and you're allowed to protest, of course, it's your democratic right, but keep in mind the danger that you're putting other people in now in this situation. And I think that is the correct way to go.
That's the way how people are supposed to do it.
That is also part of nonviolent. Not only that the protesters have to be nonviolent, but the police force,
I just wanted to point this out, because otherwise maybe a lot of people would be like, oh, you think that these people are just becoming violent for no reason.
And I'm not comparing Antifa to KKK. No. I am not. That's what I try to say with the historical heritage of the KKK. KKK is a horrible organization. Antifa, I don't agree with it, but they're not a horrible organization.
They have
a standard.
They have a moral standard. A moral standard, and they have a reason for what they're doing.
They have a goal.
Yeah, they have a goal. And
KKK's just
because of their own personal opinion.
Yeah, the KK is mindless, just
killing. Mindless killing is what
exactly. And the Antifa does have an end goal, although I don't appreciate the way that they go to it, and I don't agree with their ways of getting there. Anyways, you're gonna say what you think, because I'm sorry.
We need that's okay. I mean, you knew a lot more, so I thought I'd let you take this one. I know I wasn't here, but I did just want to just be here to say, don't come at him. He means well. He doesn't. If you think he's saying the wrong thing, he means everything in the best way possible. And he's all for like everything
Yeah.
going to how everything should be in our eyes.
Yeah.
So I guess with that, we could probably wrap it up now.
Yeah.
So then I'm gonna finish this because I haven't
Do
done
your
it
famous
in a while.
outro.
And my famous outro that I've totally not forgotten. This has been Pickle Clique. Thank you for listening in. If you've made it all this way really far, that's just great. Really appreciate it. Leave your own opinions in the comments. Please just don't say no to anyone else. Just say, okay, I get where you're coming from. But thank you for listening, and have a really good day. That's gonna be bye-bye.
Bye.